Okay, everybody. I hope everything is working because I cannot currently see anything on of Twitch on my computer. It's being very difficult, but nonetheless, we shall get started. Hello, everybody. My name is Neil. My pronouns are he/him. I am the crazed creator of this indie TTRPG, Earth, a game set in an alternate 19th century Earth where all the creatures from folklore and fairy tale are real, have always been real, and live alongside humanity. Our game is set in the year 1872. It's approximately 6, 7 months since a pretty devastating war between the combined Allied forces of Prussia and France against the Fey nation of Arcadia. Our heroes are currently in Paris. I am very excited to say we have a new player joining the stream, Ariane, who will be getting introduced in a moment. But we actually haven't done this in ages, and we have a new player. So I'm going to ask everybody to very briefly introduce themselves, starting with Neve.
Hello. I hope you can see and hear me. Chronic internet issues abound. Hello, I'm Neve. My pronouns are she, her, and I play Gwyn. She is a human witch who grew up in a very close knit family in Exeter, Port City, and ventured to France after the war. Her family would have healing skills, amongst other talents, and she moved to Paris when she kind of hit the age of about 18 for adventure and to see if she could help and learn new things on the continent.
Susie.
Hi, I'm Susie. My pronouns are she, her. I play Sylvia, a joyous ray of sunshine Prussian druid, formerly of the Prussian army. She left the army out. Well, there's a story there, but anyway, she's not a soldier anymore. She's a druid. And yes.
Okay, Tendai.
Hi, I'm Tendai. My pronouns are they, them, and I play the party's rogue, Aminata, who is the only child of a loving couple with no traumatic backstory so far. So, yay me. But yeah, and Aminata's just happy to go with the flow and also works as a junior diplomat.
Okay, Polina.
Hello everyone, my name is Polina. My pronouns are she, her, and I play Justine, the sorcerer and the squish lord of the group. Justine doesn't have a traumatic background either.
Well,
she's a daughter
your
of wealthy
brother.
merchants. Well, yeah, but he's fine now. She's a daughter of a wealthy Belgian merchant, and she initially went on the journey to find her missing brother, who we did find and we did save, and now he's at home recovering from his PTSD. But Justine decided to stick around and help the group and accompany them in their journey. And Justine also has a lovely familiar. The designated cat of the group is it's a fairy dragon, Anklegon the Great. He's very spoiled, but very precious, and must be protected at all costs.
Yes.
And is the best boy.
Yes. And finally, Ariane.
Hi everyone, I'm Ariane. Ari's fine as well. My pronouns are she, they. I'm entirely new to this, so I'm really excited to get to know everyone. I'll be playing the aforementioned Annalise Nicole, who is also a ex-Prussian soldier, who is no longer a Prussian soldier because there's also a story there. I am a Fey-touched gunslinger, currently working in the employ of one Ms. Joséphine.
Right, so before we go any further, who would like to give us a recap of our last session?
Okay, so we went to the Druid headquarters with the hope of that, they had them because they were going to do research for us. Sylvia is still a little bit of a celebrity there, so that's, fun and not awkward at all. They didn't really find much. Yeah, but it doesn't sound like what we're dealing with. So Aminata's been fine in terms of health. But then Gwen went to Joséphine Gaultier to see if she knew anything about the necromancer. She didn't. We met Tito at La Grosse Chat, the cafe that just happens to have a giant fat tabby cat outside of it all the time. And he was super mysterious about how he's, he follows the road and he's been everywhere and seen lots of stuff. And we eventually decided to lay a trap for the Baron. And so Aminata went to bed. We took watch and we basically went into the room and found him hanging from the wall like a bat and feeding off Aminata, but not making contact with her. It was like he was hanging. He wasn't like making contact. He was like kind of from a distance. Then he fired an arcane bolt at Gwyn and went out into the night like the goddamn Batman. So
yes, right. So we return to that scene. You're all in Aminata's bedroom. Aminata, you are woken by the noise of the brief bursts of magic. And you immediately feel it. You have been drained slightly. It's not quite as bad as previously. But it's more. It's actually, if anything, it's more noticeable because Sylvia had used her magic to restore you, and you'd been fully restored back to your normal maximum grip points, and then had been healed magically and through rest. So it would seem that the Baron, as it was most certainly him that the party saw in the window of you're on the second story, that he was somehow magically feeding off of you.
Okay. Aminata is going to be obviously quite startled by all of this going on, and they're going to try and be a bit cool, calm, and collected at first, and then they just go, "Oh, merde! Why him? It could have been anyone else, but why him? He was so beautiful."
Too good to be true, eh?
Sometimes it's not always bad. Anyway, Aminata, how are you feeling? Are you okay?
I'm tired. I feel sluggish. Not as bad as the last time. Thank God for little messes, but why him? It was.
Oh, shush, it's okay. It's okay. And Gwyn will go over and use healing tether.
Unfortunate. Okay, you cast healing tether, but it has no effect.
Whoa, weird.
Yeah, exhaustion damage.
Nice. Okay, well, it looks like you need rest. Do you feel safe enough staying here, or?
Not a chance. I don't
think that he's going to come back, honestly, but yeah, I think
well, he knows this address. He didn't know my place. You're more than welcome to go and stay there for a while.
Oh, okay. I think that would be the smartest choice.
Because actually, the previous night, Aminata had stayed with Gwyn, I believe.
We had tried to trap the Baron.
And he didn't turn up. At your apartment.
Yeah.
So
I think because he didn't know the address. So
Aminata had exchanged addresses with the Baron because you were going to be hopefully corresponding. So he does have your address. But he wouldn't know Gwyn's address. I mean, he could.
Yeah, they corresponded all right.
yeah.
Nito, thank you for your help, but I don't think there's anything that you can do here. Maybe we could call on you another time.
Um, sorry, who were you saying that to?
Nito.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I forgot he was there. Well, of course, that was rather strange. Not the strangest thing I've seen, but it was still unsettling. Mademoiselle Aminata, are you sure that you are okay? Perhaps Sylvia, you could use some of your healing arts just to.
I am going to,
Yes.
yeah. I'm
Uh,
going to cast
Do
restoration.
any of you? I cannot remember. Forgive me. My mind isn't not what it used to be in my old age. Do any of you know the spell Moonlit Script?
Gwen does.
Oh, yes.
Ah, wonderful. Then you can easily contact me if you need me to come with urgency. Yes?
Perfect.
Wonderful, wonderful. If you need me, just send me the enchantment and I will come to you as quickly as I can.
We will. I appreciate your help.
Of course. And like he gives you another look, Aminata, like a look of genuine, like he's kind of like combination of concern and a very experienced man who has seen a lot, giving you the once over and checking how happy he is with how you physically are. He's like, this is clearly a guy who's seen a lot. He says he's a man of the road, but this is, you can tell from the way he's looking at you, like, no, this guy's definitely experienced in many things. But then he says goodnight to you all. He doesn't ask where Aminat is going. He's not trying to get any information. He doesn't ask where Gwyn's address is. He's like being very respectful of, I'm here to help. If you need me, just send me a message and I will come. And he departs.
All right, Neil, I would like to cast restoration.
How much money are you spending?
Can I get away with spending about
Do you remember how much you spent the last time?
30?
Yes, it was 30.
That's what I have to spend.
You don't know?
Oh. Okay, well, you know what? It's the end of the night, so yeah, fuck it. I'll do it.
So you spend your 30 mana and your healing energies permeate Aminata's body and they are fully restored back to their max grit, which was, I can't remember, Aminata, was it 81 or 83?
It had been 83.
That's what I thought. Yeah, so you're...
Did you level up, though?
Now, you do have...
It is up now.
Okay. Well, I don't think we've added your grit for 9th level, though.
No, not yet.
So you need to roll your d8 and add, but we can do that at the break,
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this is so I just need to know, what is the plan? Are you all staying here with Aminata tonight, or are you all now moving to Gwyn's apartment?
I think we go to my place.
Okay.
So Aminata, pack your stuff for a few days, maybe.
Well, I need to make sure that the staff are not in the house. I don't know if he'd go after any of them, and I cannot leave them here defenseless. And at that, Aminata is just going to throw off their bed cover angrily, but also a bit dramatically, and go to their wardrobe and start changing clothes, and also strapping up.
Yeah.
In terms of weapons.
Yeah.
And they look very determined.
The staff are in any danger, Aminata. I think that you are the intended target.
However, we don't know. I totally understand Aminata's concern. And maybe if you want an unsolicited advice, maybe you could send your staff for a paid leave for a couple of days.
I intend to. However, I am not one to suffer being treated in such a bad way by people who had very dubious intent. I should have known when he sniffed me at the ball. Why did the alarm bells not go off in my head? I was clearly just infatuated by this gorgeous, tall, dark, handsome man.
We don't blame you.
Aminata, it has happened to us all. We have been swept off our feet. It's fine.
Oh, but
We
it
will
has
get revenge.
never happened to me. And I have gone through the most vicious of society circles, and I have never once fallen for somebody. Oh, I am so disappointed in myself. My mother, if
Well,
she knew, she would
Aminata,
kill me.
he's clearly not a human, so we don't know what kind of magic he used on you.
Right.
We can find
Well,
out.
I think we should probably go. You go somewhere safe. And
Okay.
And then
And spend the night plotting revenge. Don't worry.
let me talk to the staff. Let me get them,
Yeah.
give them their pay now.
Of course.
And at that, Aminata is going to obviously take,
So,
their money and go and do their bits.
so we'll say you spend the next 30, 60 minutes packing everything, talking to the household staff, giving them as much or as little details as you need to, but telling them that they all need to leave for a few days, and then eventually you depart with Gwyn. You can jump in a cab. Are Justine and Sylvia going with them, or are you going back to your own place?
I think we'll just go back to our own place.
Okay, cool. So you guys jump into a cab back to Momar, and Gwyn and Aminata, you guys jump in a cab to your place, okay? It's like 5 copper each or whatever. I don't really care, okay? Like, I genuinely don't care, okay? So, yeah, you head back, Gwyn, to your apartment, your shag pad with Aminata, and you have when you do eventually, when Aminata does eventually calm down enough to fall asleep.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Plans for revenge. Don't worry.
You spend a few hours plotting your revenge, discussing what you saw. So just to recap, what you saw was the Baron appearing to be like clinging to the wall of the house like a bat or a rat or a squirrel, while casting some sort of a magic that was traveling through the panes of glass to Aminata and drawing back, feeding from her. You assume feeding from her life essence. And then when he saw you, he, through the magic of the glass, fired off arcane bolts and literally just let go and fell into the night sky.
Yeah, no, we know.
Okay, so that is like, that's exactly what you saw, okay? You didn't see anything else. There was no... You didn't see him flying off or changing form or anything like that.
Yeah.
He just disappeared into the shadows. Okay? So, everybody has a long night's rest. You are not disturbed. Okay? Next morning, you get up.
I'm going to head to Madame Gaultier's immediately, because I promised I would inform her of what we found. So.
Yeah, okay. Aminata, I assume you're going with her, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, and will we say that
They
Sylvia
are all
and
going. Yeah.
said they were going to meet her as well. So you all get there at like, I don't know, we'll say like 9 o'clock, okay? The shop's
we'll meet there.
The shop's like literally just been opened a few minutes, okay? So going in, you see Joséphine Gaultier there. She's there, one of her assistants, and they've literally just opened the shop. Like, oh, my, you are here very early this morning.
Oh, my dear, I'm so sorry to intrude when you are just opening, but we have news, important news that you will want to hear.
Of the necromancer?
About one of your former ball guests.
Oh, it wasn't Monsieur Delacour again, no?
No, nothing about that. Can we should speak some more private?
Yes, let's go into the background.
Good. And Gwyn will regale Madame Joséphine with the news of the Baron.
Wait, so he was clinging to the walls of the house on the second floor, using some sort of a dark enchantment to feed off of Aminata's life essence, and then he cast, and she turns to you, Justine. Justine, you're certain it was Arcane Bolt.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
Of course you know that. This is why I ask you, because this is one of your spells, I know. So, whatever he is clearly also a sorcerer. or
Yeah.
has access to certain sorcerer's magics.
Madame Gaultier, I would like to ask you for a favor.
If I can.
At the ball, we met with a bishop,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a lovely conversation with him.
Yes.
And it seems like no one knows anything about this creature. We went to druids, and if the druids know nothing, then I doubt we can find anything in any library. However, the church archives might have something.
They may.
And if I can get to the church archives,
Mm-hmm.
I can try and research as much as I can.
I will write you a letter. You can go to the Bishop's Palace today and see if you can gain entry.
Thank you so much. That would be... I know it's a big favor to ask, but our friend's life is at stake.
Of course. Please, yes. And as for what will be the plan with Aminata, is she going to...
Well, Aminata can tell us, but we will find him, make him pay in the worst possible ways.
No, I mean like right now, where would be this? Like, is she going to stay at your apartment, Gwyn?
Oh yes, if she's happy to do so.
It's the safest option. I would rather not have to run from my childhood home. Like,
No, of course.
You're not running, you are simply regrouping in a different place.
No, and this is good. This is because the Baron does not know that address.
no, he does not.
No.
But he knows my family home. My mother and my father could return home at any minute, and he seemed quite enchanted by my Fey ancestry. He might feed off my mother if she's at home. I need to kill him.
No,
If your mother is a
absolutely.
true Fae, I don't think that she will be in any danger.
But we don't know.
No.
We don't know anything about him. You cannot possibly say that you would not be in danger.
Yes, absolutely.
So we kill him. Okay.
No, I kill him.
Okay.
No,
I
we
kill
kill
him.
So, yeah, I think we should
considering
help.
what
you know?
you described, I think it will take all of you to defeat this
Well,
creature.
of course, it's not going to be a one-on-one battle. Listen, I know I can
Okay.
sometimes be very aggressive, but I'm not dumb.
Mm-hmm.
We will kill him, but I need to kill him.
We'll
will
save
get
the
this.
last blow
Okay.
for you.
Okay.
Please, thank you. That's all I want.
Okay. Right.
But Madame Joséphine, if you had, I mean, I do hate to always come asking for help and assistance, but if you had any ideas on what might work against this creature.
I mean, we don't even know what he is. So I'm sorry, this is outside my area of expertise.
Well, Gwen, I have yet to come across a creature that is not vulnerable to fire, and I know that you are more than happy to use
Yes,
it.
that is true. Okay, well, we shall move on. Maybe Gwyn, perhaps you would like to stay tonight with me so that Aminata has some privacy and comfort on her own.
I would love to stay with you, but Aminata, I don't know how you feel about spending time on your own. We can take shifts and
Gwen, I'd be fine by myself. I think I need to, need to think a little bit about my
of course
choices.
That's what I was thinking too. That's why I was making the suggestion.
But I would
Well,
be
in that
more
case,
comfortable if we can leave Anki with you.
Of course.
Yes, Anki would be
that would
great
be
company. He seemed to suss him out before any of us did.
Yes, that
I'd
would
be
be
very comfortable with that.
That would be a very good idea. Excellent. Okay, well, so shall we go out? Okay, so as you're going out into the main front of the shop, a figure walks in to the shop. Annalise, would you like to describe yourself?
Certainly. So Annalise stands at about 5'9", very stick thin, willowy sort of build. She's wearing this kind of very stiff, high-necked, almost military-style coat. Very muted colors, all browns and greens. Her hair kind of sits just in sort of a choppy shoulder-length bob with a slight fringe that covers over one eye. Not so much that you can't see it, but just kind of swoops over. most noticeably, the hair kind of sits in this odd sort of muddy brown-green shade. The eyes themselves, oak brown with dark circles, but most noticeably, across all of her skin is this sort of greenish blush around the edges. And along her neck, coming up from poking sort of underneath the collar of whatever coat you see she's wearing, are these almost, if you've seen ivy without the leaves, just that kind of really thin wood-like branch. It just kind of seems to curl up underneath her jacket and just cup underneath her chin and neck.
So it's almost like the ivy is like part of her skin and growing
yeah, it almost looks grafted in there, but it's definitely coming up from within her clothing. And yeah, in terms of sort of what might put the best image in, if you've seen like Thor Ragnarok, think Kate Blanchett's Hela. Yeah, tell me about it.
I'm just gonna go to my happy place.
Wow.
Yeah.
Slightly younger, slightly less cruel, but still very like sharp features, quite haunted looking. And she's just sort of walking in. Very well loved, well maintained rifle on one shoulder, gun at the hip, saber on the other side. She's equipped. And she just sort of strolls in.
So I'm gonna say this straight away, Sylvia. You notice the rifle is Prussian standard issue. She has a revolver pistol on her hip, which is clearly a standard issue Prussian officer's pistol. The saber, it's not quite standard issue. It's slightly fancier, and you would have known some of the officers in the Prussian army who would have come from more wealthy and noble backgrounds. They wouldn't have had the standard issue saber, but would have had their own sabers that were slightly fancier. This is similar, okay? And she's also carrying like a cloth hessian sack in her hand as you come in, and you just
dripping slightly.
Oh, Annalise! Oh,
Frau Joséphine, what a pleasure to see you.
Oh.
I've accomplished the missions, the tasks that you put to me. I apologize, I'm staining the floor slightly.
No. It's one you successfully hunted the creature and got the parts that I wanted.
Yeah, fully collected. It was a little tricky. You know what they say, even if you kind of, a couple of shots to the wings and the thing came down, but a griffin on the ground is just as bad as a griffin in the air, if not worse.
Yeah, no, they are. Well, I knew you could do this. I'm sorry, lady.
Oh, we have company. Oh my goodness. She's got like sticks and leaves in her hair. Oh, I normally try to look better. Hello, guten Morgen. What a pleasure to meet you all. Frau Joséphine, should I put this somewhere?
And she's Suzette, and the assistant comes in. Just put that in the back room, thank you. And
Suzette
goes on them. So, Annalise, these are good friends and associates of mine who do similar work to yourself. And for starting off, pointing towards Aminata, this is Aminata.
Bonjour.
Justine.
Good morning.
Sylvia, who is a fellow Prussian. And Gwyn.
Well, I see our competition has arrived. I would be much less impressed had I not heard you utter the words griffin.
Oh, it's a rare opportunity to hunt such a beast.
I had no idea they were real.
Yes, no.
Nina and I actually ran into one in the Tronqué Forest. When we were running for our lives from your ex-girlfriend.
You
see, like, Annalise's head kind of twitches at that, but just takes it in stride.
Yeah.
History.
There was a griffin that was terrorizing some villages off to the east, attacking livestock, stealing calves, because it's a griffin, not sheep, calves. The farmers were getting very worried. I sent Annalise, because she's a skilled marksman, and some of the parts of the griffin are useful for me in some of my arcane endeavors.
Sylvia's going to pointedly look at the rifle and just be like, kind of...
At you
it's very... I see you.
At you being mentioned Prussian as well, like, Annalise is doing everything in her power not to look in your direction. Like when her eyes are looking over the group, she halts on you, gives a really awkward smile, quickly moves on.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Can-
there's nothing to mark, like Sylvia's not wearing any
No.
sort of specifically,
No.
you know.
But just like gets the vibe of, oh no, I've been seen.
And Aminata, obviously, is this going to be very, very obvious, or is Annalise trying to be really discreet with this?
In terms of like her nationality or like her
No, in
background?
terms of trying to avoid Sylvia. Like, are you trying to be discreet, or is it going to be a case of a shit?
It's probably, to anyone who has some semblance of social knowledge, it's
I
probably
don't think
pretty
she's trying to
obvious.
avoid
Okay.
Sylvia.
No, just like
No.
there's a mutual, you've seen me, I've seen you, there's something going on here. It's
So
pretty clear.
to put it simply, Sylvia and Justine are like zero awareness, no clue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone
No,
else
hey.
probably gets
Sylvia has spotted the rifle, so
Hmm.
she's like,
That's what
Yeah.
you're focusing on, is the rifle and probably the officer's pistol as well.
yeah, I'm just gonna say I haven't seen one of those in a while.
It's the exact same as the one that your brother Heinrich has.
Yeah.
Oh, my armaments. Ja, sehr, you know,
Standard issue from the Prussian army, yeah, I know.
yeah, quite so. Yes, I served some time in the military. So
Were you,
there,
Right.
did you fight in the war?
I had my fair share of skirmishes. Yeah, I was actually in more of a command sort of position. So you know, I had my own garrisons that I looked after. But yeah, I've been involved in a little skirmish here and there. But
Were you there on the last day? Sylvia's voice kind of goes sort of low, and she looks really like, oh god, I don't know if this is a really bad question to ask, but she's also really curious. So you can see she's sort of like, oh, I'm really overstepping here, and I don't know you, and I have no right to ask this, but also, oh, I really want to know.
You see, like, the ghost of an expression passes over Annalise's face as she, like, takes a moment. It could be read as, like, a memory, or it could be, like, kind of lost in thought. She goes, I was fortunate enough not to see the worst of it. But
it's good to meet someone else who made it out. So
you were there on the day.
I was, but not in a command position, I'm afraid.
So Annalise, you also, you know, on the last day, tens of thousands, like up to over 85%, if not more, of both the Prussian and French forces were decimated. So the fact that Sylvia says she was there on the last day and is alive and talking to you, that's a big deal. That's a really big deal, because so few people who fought in the last day of the war survived.
Annalise kind of nods, and you see, like, she almost seems to tear up a little bit and just get a bit misty, and she just gives a strong swallow and she goes, well, if anything, that should I should honor you more for that.
No.
I mean, only in the sense that, you know, while command has its requirements, it was the hard work of frontlines men and women such as yourself that would, you know, fought for the important cause.
Important cause. The cause was some man deciding he wanted more land. Come on.
There
was no cause, and we all paid with our lives and the skin off our backs.
You see, as you say that, she noticeably looks more relieved. Like, some of the stiffness leaves her a little bit. And she goes, well, if we are speaking candidly, yeah, I quite agree. The cost of blood and people in that combat was not worth any land or prestige. But I'm glad to have met another survivor.
Yeah, no, I know that there were survivors, because, you know, I was in the hospital with them, but it is nice to actually cross paths with someone who made it out as well.
As you're saying that, like, it's near unmistakable, just a look of sheer guilt for like a short span of time. It's there, and it quickly gets smoothed over. But it is a look of like distinct guilt and shame. And
you're going to hear a voice in your head using the lesser telepathy cantrip. I have it too. Don't worry.
She kind of
can't
like
reply to that.
No, but Annalise twists the ring on her finger because I'm wearing a what am I wearing? A fairy ring?
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot you have the ring of.
Yeah, I have the ring of fairy whisper.
You can use that actually.
Yeah.
Yes,
so I twist that and poke back. Nice to know someone who gets it. And like as you said that, the look of guilt and shame deepens a bit more, but again, gets passed over.
Sylvia is stone-faced.
So, Joséphine says, actually, I must say it is quite fortuitous that Annalise has arrived when she did, because from the sounds of things, you could do with some extra help. And
is there business afoot?
I will let the ladies explain it to you all. Some of them certainly look like they need either a soothing cup of tea, a strong coffee, or a stiff drink.
Multiple.
Sylvia's going to take out her hip flask and just be like, anybody?
Aminata is going to
Find a bar.
yank that out of Sylvia's hand and just empty it all. And this is probably the most tense anyone has seen Aminata, as in they've been pacing, they haven't been able to stand still.
Yes.
Like, even while this whole interaction was happening, they were kind of like, I need to be out there hunting a bastard. And they're just like, I'm so sorry. Pardonnez-moi. And Aminata is going to hand Sylvia back the hip flask and actually just walk outside and take a few deep breaths, look, and then just start walking.
So, away.
Yeah, they're in a bad way.
Okay.
Would you? I assume that there's something there.
Yeah, so we were at a ball, and there was a man, as you know, as there often is for some women.
Sad but true.
And he and Aminata seemed to be quite taken with each other, and turns out that he has been feeding off her in some sort of a magical and very unsavory fashion. And also he can climb buildings like a rat or a squirrel and has sorcery. We need to kill him.
We need to kill him. Wow, hearing you say it like that, Sylvia. Yeah.
You see,
well, I'm not in the mood for diplomacy, but I think
Annalise is rattling through like a list of creatures in her head and just coming up blank, and she goes, "That is quite the hodgepodge. If it can do all of those things and has done these things, then by all accounts should be killed. So
I agree with all of you, but can we pause the killing for at least today? I think we need to try and find out what he is.
I agree.
For some reason, something tells me that we only seen a tiny little bit of his power. We don't know what he's capable of. We don't even know if he's fey touched. So
yeah, he nearly knocked the wind out of me through the window.
I have been gone for not even a week. What has happened?
Well, Annalise, there is always space in our group for a badass experienced woman like yourself. And to be honest, we kind of need the help at the moment. If you'd like to come for a drink with us, we can tell you the whole story.
Well, you offer a drink, so that certainly greases the wheels. I look over at Joséphine and go, Frau, yeah?
Yeah, please. Just, yes, no, please.
Right.
Absolutely.
The problem is, the druids seemed, I thought that they, because they are the emissaries between the humans and the Fae, I thought that maybe they would know, but they have no information.
The droids don't know.
No, and I thought that they would, but this is not a French Fae. He comes from Bulgaria, so we are dealing with something foreign. They had there was a Strigoi, Striga, vampire. There was a Scottish one called the Balvon Seath. I refuse to butcher the pronunciation on that.
On point of pride, yeah.
On point of pride.
I was very proud of my butchered pronunciation of a Scots Gaelic word that, as an Irishman, I can perfectly pronounce.
Painful.
Yeah, it was painful. So this is my just question to you all: are you all going for drinks? Are you going to go straight to the Bishop's Palace with that letter?
Yes.
That's what I assume.
Yes. As soon as drinks are mentioned, I'm going to turn to Annalise and say, I would love to go for a drink with you, and I would love to meet you. And you can see that she means it. Like, she can't hide, she can't really lie. She's
as you say that, pure delight. Just huh.
I think we will have more time to go for a drink. At the moment, I don't think I will be able to relax until I talk to the bishop.
Yeah.
So
I would understand that. It seems we're dealing with, I say you're dealing, me as well now, I suppose, something quite unusual. So if you would need to settle your spirits in one way rather than with spirits, entirely understand. I hope that we do get the chance to awkwardly sit down at some point. What's your plan? You're visiting your source of knowledge, perhaps?
I don't have any knowledge of this creature. Not yet. So we met the bishop at the ball the other day, and he seems a very knowledgeable man. So it doesn't seem like anything known to anyone. However, the church always has the biggest archives.
Yeah,
the archives that they keep and that they don't share with people. There's a lot of knowledge there. And you can see Justine being a bit angry, is like, gatekeeping the knowledge. How dare they?
Well, the church don't like to share much of anything, really.
Especially with women.
And, leaves the rest of us dry.
They prefer us on steaks.
Yeah, they do tend to keep to themselves in some respects. I take it you have a way to get to these slightly locked down sources of information?
Well, I'm hoping to. And Justine is just going to very colorfully look at Madame Gaultier.
Madame Gaultier just shrugged her shoulders. She's done her best.
Yeah, so she's already given me the letter, right?
However, you did make quite an impression on the bishop when you met.
Yeah, he's really, really, really nice, and he really loves the fact that Justine is very hungry for knowledge.
Yeah, he was a scholar, and
he was also
speaking to a fellow scholar.
Really, really, and he was really nice, which is the important thing. Yeah. So he's quite likely to. It's like, hello, fellow scholar, can I please look at books and talk to you about them? He's going to be like, oh my God, this is like the best thing ever.
Yeah, I mean, if you introduce an idea of an unheard of creature, there's not a scholar out there that wouldn't bite that hook. So I think,
Justine, this is very much one of your strengths. I don't know if you find anything. Perhaps you could send Anklagon to us. You don't know where we are going.
You can go to the same pub we went to.
We will go to the one we went to a couple of nights ago, I think. Yeah.
Why don't you take my arcanogram and you can message Sylvia if you are stuck.
Yeah.
Also, if you get into trouble, I know the bishop might have been nice, Justine, but don't trust them all in there. They're churchmen, after all. They hate our kind, really.
Justine kind of takes the arcanogram more to make Gwyn feel more comfortable, but she's taking it anyway.
Yeah. So you guys go off to the bar, and Justine, you jump in a cab and go to the Bishop's Palace, okay? It's a very, very fine, very large building. Like, it's 4 stories high. and quite extensive. Okay, when you go up to it and you go through the front door, you're immediately into a foyer area, and there is a priest. He's in the Catholic cassock. As he sees you, kind of a bit confused that a young woman is walking in, and he's bonjour, mademoiselle.
Bonjour.
How may I help you?
I would like the audience with the bishop. I have a letter from Madame Gaultier. My name is Justine Demour. If you mention the ball at Madame Gaultier's house and tell the bishop that it's the matter of life and death, I really need his help.
He's looking very confused, but you hand him a letter. Excuse me, I'll be back in one moment, please. And he leaves. Very confused by this. But yes. And he's gone for about 6 or 7 minutes, and then eventually you do hear the sounds of footsteps coming back, more than one, and a moment later he returns, but with him is Bishop Henri Dubois, okay, the very tall, dignified man in his early 60s that you met before. He says, "Bonjour, Mademoiselle Justine, it is so good to see you. What is this? A matter of life and death? Are you fighting more gargoyles?"
Indeed.
And the other priest is like, "Wait, what?" As the bishop chuckles at his joke, and is like,
Yeah, Justine chuckles too, but kind of like half out of politeness, half because of the joke.
Yeah.
And she's like, I think we're fighting something more exciting. I would like to talk to you in private if that's possible.
Please, let's go inside. And he leads you off. You spend a few minutes, and you come into a very, very fancy, very fine office. There's like pictures of the Sacred Heart and the Virgin Mary, but there's also a massive, fine oak desk and a very, very impressively stocked drinks cabinet as well, and books and Bibles and holy stuff, and yeah,
Holy stuff.
That room could probably solve world hunger.
possibly. So he said, "Please sit down. Okay, what is the matter?"
So Justine is going to tell him everything, starting with the ball, and basically saying that the first time they met, she didn't participate in the conversation because of the reason that Anklegon the Great, my fairy dragon familiar.
Oh, he's lovely.
Isn't he?
He's adorable.
He's my best, well, one of my best friends. She's like somewhere along Sylvia Green. Aminata, Mina.
Okay, Anki should be first. It's fine.
Yeah, he's the best boy.
So okay, so your fairy dragon reacted strangely to this individual. Yes, this Baron.
Yes.
So that was
I was
your
alarmed,
first...
and I was trying to look after my friend because he never react to anything like that.
Okay.
And I'm not going to go into all our adventures, but trust me, we have seen a lot. We have seen many dangerous creatures. We have fought many fae and not fae, and that it's the first time he reacted to something or someone like that. Before I met him, he lived in a fairy forest, so we can communicate telepathically. And I tried to figure out if he ever felt like that in his life, and he hadn't.
Yes.
Even when he was living in the forest full of creatures and nightmares and God knows what else. And then my friend Aminata, she told me that Baron sniffed her at some point, and then she's going to tell about the exhaustion damage, and finally moving on to what we saw last night.
The blood.
And sort of a fucking Batman. And finalizing, kind of rounding up with the fact that we tried to go to druids, and druids know nothing, and no one knows nothing. Our friend...
Come with me. And he leads you another couple of minutes through, it's a maze of corridors, into a very, opens the door into a room. It's very, very long. It's kind of dimly lit and musty, and it is filled with hundreds, if not thousands, of books.
And we never saw Justine again.
Lost to time.
Not because the bishop killed her, but because she
No.
decided to spend the rest of her life reading archives and shit.
With Justine now in her happy place, the most of the party going for a drink, and Aminata walking off because they need some space. I think this is a perfect place to take a very brief pause in our story. Don't go anywhere, folks. I promise we'll be back in just 5 minutes' time, but we need to quick break and refreshing of drinks, and then we will get back to our story. So, in 1 minute. Where is it?
I'm gonna mute this and get another drink. Yeah.
So
Gravity
we
defying
are
courage.
back, folks.
It's crazy.
Okay. Please ignore anything that's coming up in chat right now. Okay.
I'm not
fine.
being inappropriate. Why would you
Sure.
ever?
So, when last we left our heroes, the party has just been introduced to a new individual, a fellow Prussian who also apparently fought in the war, an Annalise Nicole, some sort of a marksman or hunter, it would seem, who has done work for Madame Gaultier. Aminata, feeling a lot of very understandably strong emotions about what's been happening, has decided they need a walk and some space for themselves. Justine has gone to the Bishop's Palace with a letter from Madame Gaultier, kind of a letter of introduction / reminder, in the hopes of getting access to the Bishop's archive to see if she can find out more about what the Baron may or may not be, while Annalise, Gwyn and Sylvia head off to have a drink and talk to Annalise about everything that's going on. So we are going to jump to Aminata. So Aminata, you leaving Madame Gaultier's shop, what are you doing?
Aminata is going walking in a to an address they know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
With murderous intent.
Mm-hmm.
let's
Okay.
go.
Because to be honest, they were probably like, I don't want to be telling my business to somebody that I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the first time we've had a run-in with people who've also worked for Madame.
Mm-hmm.
So they were hoping that the party wouldn't necessarily talk about their business without them being there.
Mm-hmm.
And they started off kind of walking to clear the air, but knowing how well they know Paris, they have somehow found their way zeroing in on the Baron's house.
Okay.
Okay, I need time
Somehow.
scales, Neil. Yeah. I need time scales. How far away is the Baron's house from Josephine's?
Let's say on foot, maybe 30, somewhere between 30 and 40 minutes. Paris is a
Okay.
big city, you know?
Yeah. So there's
What about angry walking?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Shaves off like 5-10 minutes from the angle.
Aminata is average height, aren't they?
They're just a little above
Yeah,
average height.
Yeah. So then we'll say that shaves it down to like, say, 30 minutes solid.
Okay.
Because it's very angry walking.
Yeah. Did you factor in the anger?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like furious female rage. Like that's at least like thirding that.
Yeah.
Fair. So like Gwyn was legitimately gonna cast OK Person on Aminata because she was hoping she would join them for a drink actually.
Also, Sylvia was like when we switch back, Sylvia is going to be saying like she uses her arcanogram to send a message. But...
So I will worried for Aminata. I will pull out my parchment and iron filings on my pendulum. Just pop it down on the floor, spill out the iron filings, think of Aminata, and let the filings move around the page as they will.
So I'm assuming that you go to the bar, you order some drinks, you're sitting down. And...
I was hoping to find her on the way.
Well, you'd need to physically sit down, like, to cast a spell. You can't just be, like, walking along with the parchment and the...
Oh, yeah, no, of course. Yeah, no. I said I set it down on the ground.
Okay, right, cool. Okay, so you move to the side of the street and start casting your ritual spells of witchcraft. And, you come along, you get a blip of Aminata, and they're walking. They look like... Based on the scale of the map, they look like they're probably about maybe 10-15 minutes from where you are right now.
We should probably try and catch up with her.
Maybe
if she could use a stiff whiskey.
To make sure that they are, not going to do anything rash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sylvia's going to whip out the arcanogram and just send a message, like, Are you safe? We're worried about you. Actually, no, Sylvia wouldn't say that. Probably something like,
Yeah, no.
don't,
Are you mad?
don't
Don't be
do
stupid.
anything stupid.
Oh, you're so gonna get left on red. Like,
Oh, well, this is the thing. Your Arcanogram is in your bag, so, like, why would you take it out to check?
Yeah.
yeah,
You know?
It doesn't make a noise, so
No.
you know.
yeah. It's not gonna like.
It glows, but it's in your bag and it's daytime, so you're not going to spot that. You know?
True.
No. Okay, so what Sylvia would say would be something like, I understand if you need space, but you shouldn't be on your own, is what Sylvia would say.
Well, nonetheless,
I'm still not gonna see it.
Aminata's not,
It's not,
likely
yeah.
to see it because it's in her
Yep.
bag and she is walking with driven purpose, okay? So
It's all
you
I
guys
got.
are going to start trying to chase after her. I
Yeah.
assume you're not necessarily sprinting down the streets, but like walking at speed.
No, just trying to catch up with her,
Yeah.
so we can all go for a drink together.
Okay.
Welcome, Annalise, to the chaos that is our friends group, by the way.
I was about to say we had a whole plan and it seems to have
Yes.
stopped immediately. So
It
that's
is
fun.
always like
this is the ways that our plans tend to go. So this is a normal day
Ah,
for
you
us.
know, sometimes you go on a hunt and suddenly it's raining and you have to change it's we live in the moment.
Yeah,
Exactly.
know.
So I think, look, Aminata probably needs a drink more than any of us, so let's catch up
Oh
with
well,
her.
I can't give her any. She drank all of mine.
Okay, so so you guys are going to be chasing after Aminata, okay?
Yeah.
So this is happening slightly out of chronological sequence, but we're going to jump back to your state. So the bishop goes to you, says, well, right. We have numerous books here on various different creatures. Some of what, and I'm not supposed to say this, some of what these books entail is detailed descriptions of devils and fiends, but I'm sure you're aware of the fact that no one has actually ever seen a devil or a fiend or an angel. Yes, the Fae exist, and the good book tells us of Satan and his legions, but certainly no one in the last couple of centuries has been able to claim to have seen such a creature. The closest we have is imps, which are small. They are somewhat devilish in nature, but no one knows if they are actually infernal or if they are Fae. But what you're describing, it reminds me almost of the stories of Lilith and the succubus. I do not know if you're familiar with the story of Lilith.
I would say, well, I'm familiar. I'm not sure if you've seen it. I can roll something.
Let me just pull up your character sheet here. You don't have theology.
No.
Just give me a straightforward intellect roll and plus memory.
Yeah, because I did study in the university,
Yeah.
so it entails that I do have some sort of.
You would have studied theology somewhat in university. It's the 19th century.
Yeah. So I rolled 14, plus my intellect is 19, plus memory, that's like 30.
Okay, so like, yeah, you vaguely remember hearing a story of Lilith as some sort of a demon, from like ancient ancient Jerusalem. Maybe you don't know much about it. It says, so the stories say that she was Adam's first wife, that she refused to be inferior to him, and that she left Eden and became a demon, the mother of all demons. But there's also stories of succubi and incubi, and these are demons that are said to feed off of the life essence of a person, usually through a act of fornication. Now, you said that this baron was feeding off of your friend? Was he physically
No, that's the
penetrating?
strangest. No, that was the strangest thing.
I wish.
Christina's just like, she's deadpan. She doesn't get any, like,
That's
she's
what Aminata is
unfazed.
really mad about.
Sure.
There was
absolutely.
no penetration.
Absolutely.
No
Absolutely.
follow-through.
I
How
didn't get
dare.
Didn't even
anything
have-
from this.
Like, they didn't even get to have any fun. Like,
Exactly.
What was the
Oh,
point?
okay.
He
you'd
didn't
be
even
okay
penetrate through the window.
because
Like,
you'd be like, meh, worth it.
Like
No one should be
literally.
penetrating through a window, please.
Okay.
No.
Well,
Do it the old school way. Fuck's
If-
sake.
so if you would, those books over, and he points to some really, really like ancient looking tomes. He says, if you want to check in that section, I will check over here, and we'll see if we can find anything. And you open up a book, and it's a book. It's really weird. It's a book that's written like a theological text, but it's talking about devils and demons and fiends and incubi and succubi, and
mhm.
it reads kind of like the
So,
horny
like,
fan
human
fiction of a celibate man.
Which it probably was, in fairness.
You know, but so yeah, you're gonna go. You're trying to go through this, okay? So
The neck beard days gone by.
so can you give me this is gonna be a fresh roll. You're adding intellect plus research.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I do have research. I was like, the fuck?
Yeah, you do.
I rolled 20.
A nat 20
So
or
that's-
an unnatural 20?
Not 20, so that's 26.
Wow.
Ooh.
Okay. Right.
I like.
Okay.
I'm
well,
not lying. Here
No,
it
That's
is.
I
my
believe you.
friend.
Hey, are they the dice that I gave you?
Yes,
Yeah.
they're the pink ones.
They're the
They
pink ones
always
that
roll
Susie
well
and I
for
gave
this
you.
team.
Yeah.
They roll so well.
Yeah.
The other ones that you also gave me, like purpley ones, they don't roll well for this team. But the bright pink ones with sparkly bits, freaking
Yeah.
Swifty.
Wonderful. Right. Okay. Well, with a nat 20, what I'm going to say is that what you actually find is a section of the book talking about incubi and succubi and how they feed off of different people, but then it starts talking about other devilish beings and talks about how certain humans who were evil, and when they died, their souls were not accepted into heaven, but they were not taken by the devil either, so they came back to life, and that these are stories from the more eastern parts of Europe, and that the Orthodox Church has stories of these and talking about these, and they describing them as vampire, of these humans who come back, who feed off of the life essence of other humans. Quite often in the stories, they would feed off and attack their family. A husband who had become a vampire might come back and lie with their wife, and even talks about how sometimes she might then have a child as well through this unholy union, but that they are very powerful beings. They can live for hundreds of years. It does say in it though that they can be repelled by the true cross and by the power of faith, and belief in the one true God, and also talks about how they do feed off of, as I say, the life force of others, but that how they can be killed is through that one would drive a stake through their heart, cut off their head, and burn their body until it was nothing but ash.
Mm-hmm.
So the power of Christ compels you.
According to this text.
As it does. So,
According to the text.
When Justine finds it, she's going to kind of go a bit like, Bishop, I think I found something. How would I address a bishop? Like, Your Highness? What would be the
Your
proper way?
Highness.
Your grace.
Yeah, Your Holiness.
Mhm.
Your
Yeah,
Holiness
Your
or
Grace.
your
I'll be like, Your Grace, I found something. And I'll kind of beckon him over. and give a little disclaimer that, Your Grace, I'm not here to question your faith or the church or Christianity. I came to you for your knowledge and expertise, and I think I found something. But I might need your insight on what this actually means and how we can destroy this being. And she's going to just like hold the book in front of him.
Okay.
And I hope the bishop will understand that she means about like fucking explain to me without all the power of Christ and true God and whatever.
Well, when he sees, he says, "Well, this actually would okay. Well, if they're talking about the Orthodox Church, you said this individual was Bulgarian,
Yes,
so that's the correct part of Christendom that we're talking about here."
it is indeed.
Yeah. Okay. Well. So it would appear that they are not actually Fae, but cursed humans. Which is very interesting. But if this book is correct, and it says they can be repelled by the true faith, perhaps we can help you with that. So, can anybody else hear that background noise?
Yeah.
That might be me.
Radio or something.
Okay, right. So he says, yes, being repelled by the. Okay, right. If you'll come with me, I might be able to help you. So he brings you down through the maze of corridors, into what looks to be some sort of a sacristy or chapel-like area. There's an altar. There's some rows of pews. And there's a small little font. And he goes over to one side, and he takes a very, very fine cut glass jug, pours filled with water, which he pours into the bowl, into the font, and then he spends the next couple of minutes praying over and blessing this water. And then he goes over and he gets like two small little bottles. They like maybe 350 ml bottles, fine cut glass as well, and he dips the two of them into the font, stoppers them, and says, "Well, here you go, my dear. Here's two bottles that I've just consecrated. This is holy water. Perhaps it would be of aid to you if you're fighting such a creature. If you want, I can bless you as well. You could be blessed as a soldier of Christ."
Thank you so much, Her Grace. Sure,
Okay.
bless me.
So he goes back over and he opens another press and he takes out another small little vial, and he unstoppers it and you can smell fragrant oils.
Yes, no.
And he spends the next minute anointing your forehead, and anointing your heart while saying some prayers in Latin. I can't remember. Is Justine Catholic or Protestant? She is Catholic, isn't she? I can't remember.
Yes, she's.
I thought she
she's
was.
Catholic.
So this actually sounds very similar to the prayers that would have been said by the bishops during your confirmation.
Yeah.
So you do recognize these prayers because
Yeah.
you were raised Catholic at a time when the Mass was still in Latin, and you are also a scholar who has studied Latin. So he's basically blessing you with a prayer, saying that you are a soldier of Christ and of the true faith of the Lord, commanded to drive the evil forces of the devil out of the world and purify the world for the return of the Messiah. And he's okay. Well, I think with these weapons, you will be able to face any devil.
Thank you so much, Your Grace.
Of course. Okay.
I hope we'll meet again. She's trying to be kind of like sneaky about, okay, if I don't fucking die,
Yes.
I'll come back to say thanks.
Of course.
Okay, can I do a memory roll and remember if the book mentioned what kind of stake? Should it be like
it just said a wooden stake.
a wooden stake? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Though, in fairness, if you drive a wooden stake to most creatures, it'll probably kill
Yeah,
them.
it will
I'm
probably
just
kill
saying.
them.
Yeah.
Same goes for decapitation and
Yeah.
burning to ash.
Mhm.
Generally works.
Generally will kill most things. Yeah.
If you remove the head from the body, unless it's a hydra, and then
Yeah.
just
Well, then it
you're
gets
gonna have
worse.
then you're gonna have a really fucking bad
So
day.
this is what's happening, okay? Gwyn, Sylvia, and Annalise, you guys are like not quite sprinting, but you're doing that thing that people do when they're massively rushing, but they don't want people to see them running. So you're kind of like doing that like speed walky, jumpy little
Yeah,
thingy,
that's
you
fair.
know, that's really awkward and even more obvious. And
Sorry, Neil. Can we say that like when I left the church? First of all, can I do a sneaky detect magic on the
you
files?
absolutely, yeah. No, you don't detect any magical essence off of them.
As suspected, like
Mhm.
as expected.
Yeah.
But sure, look, and then I'm going to write Arcanagram to Sylvia, being like, basically, send location.
Yeah. So this is what you guys find. You find yourselves coming into an area of the city that you recognize. This is the area of the city you found yourselves coming into when you got out of the catacombs with young Astrid and Monsieur Delacour.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, and you've cast your spell like twice more, and you just see up ahead of you, Aminata is heading and slowing down a bit.
We were in this area. This is where the Baron lives.
And you literally get to her just as she's stopping in front of a very, very fine house. This is like not a terrace. This is a single solitary house with a small grounds around it. It's a very grand mansion.
Gwyn and Sylvia were here.
We were there.
You realize you did actually pass this house before, as Aminata is just standing there. Like you literally catch up with her just as they get to the house.
Aminata, you must know that if you were to storm in, you would just appear as though you are, confronting a noble with much power. It will go badly for you.
He may be a noble with much power. However, he's not the only one with connections, and I'm the one with connections in the city. He owes me at least some answers. I would have thought. I don't know how. I was just walking and I just ended up here, and I'm furious.
Okay.
Might not be my place, but I find when you're on the hunt, your feet always lead you to your target.
Aminata is going to just kind of turn and see Annalise and kind of be like, and then just look at the rest of the party like, okay,
sorry,
we'll put a pin in that.
Annalise, you're not wrong. And Aminata, hell hath no fury. You know what they say. If you want to go in, I'll go with you.
Okay.
Oh,
Aminata's gonna go.
Oh.
Okay, if we're taking the fight to a nobleman, I can get with that, sure.
Okay.
A nobleman who crawls on walls and shoots horrible things from his hands.
Like if he was noble, at least he'd tell me. Like he could have asked. That's the worst part. He could have asked Aminata, listen, can I feed from you a little bit? And Aminata probably would have been like, fucking sure.
Yeah.
But no, he didn't have the decency to ask me.
I know Aminata, but isn't that most men?
So you you go open the gate, walk up through the path up towards the front door of the house. What are you doing?
Aminata's going to ladylike knock on the front door.
Okay.
I would like to cast Protective Circle around us all, please, if possible.
Just give me one moment, please.
I know we're not quite in combat, so I don't know if it applies yet.
You mean Circle of Warding, yes?
Yes.
Okay, bum bum.
I think
Just
I
in
need to switch off
case.
my webcam. It is glitching real bad.
It's
Mm.
okay. Look, it's not your fault. It's just tech being annoying, you know. Sorry. Just give me one moment, please. Circle of
Sylvia is kind of like, you can tell she's like, this is a fucking terrible idea, but also she's not going to leave her friends, so she's
Okay.
kind of.
Has she checked her
So-
anagram by any chance? Justine is like stranded. She has no idea what's going on.
No, she doesn't. So you ring the door.
Oh yeah, Sylvia at this point is kind of going, oh, apparently we're at the Barnes house, so that's happening.
Yeah. So
Drop your Google pin.
after a moment, the door is opened by a man. I mean, you don't recognize him. He looks to be middle aged, like somewhere in his like late 30s, early 40s. Average height and build, slightly sickly pallor, kind of slightly greasy hair, but he's wearing a very fine shirt, very fine waistcoat and jacket, of like somebody who's probably like a servant or something. And as the doors open, says, bonjour, mademoiselles. How may I help you?
Aminata is going to turn the charm on to like a fucking 1,000. She will do she'll say anything to get into this
Ooh,
fucking
I want
house.
to pass. Sorry to interrupt. I want to pass my amulet. The charm amulet, Neil, to Aminata. I'll just stick it into her hand on the sly. And that gives Aminata a bonus. Sorry, bear with me. A major amulet of friendship +1 to charm.
Oh,
Also, silver tongue feet.
yeah.
And the gain calming influence feat.
Okay, sure. I don't think we have that in your character sheet for some weird reason.
I
But
have it
I
in
do
my
know
book
you had
shadows.
it. I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on there.
It's in my book shadows.
Yeah, no. Oh, yeah, that's where you put it in your book of
Mm.
shadows. That's what it was. It's not on the character sheet. Yeah, cool. Right. Yeah. So, you have a with this charm in your. It's a charm in the shape of like a heart shaped kind of token. A silver heart shaped token, and +2 bonus to persuasion, the silver tongue feat, and the calming influence feat. But so, what were you going to say?
Aminata is going to, turn on the charm, smile nice and pleasantly, and say, Bonjour, monsieur. I'm here on behalf of the embassy to speak with the Baron. I am Mrs. Moreau, and we have some business.
Oh,
He did tell me to come by today to discuss his stay in Paris. He wanted to get a bit more acquainted with, you know, the area, and also to find out about, the work that we do in the embassy and such things.
We do have his card, don't we?
Oh no, you do not need to send me such a thing. My lord had mentioned you, mademoiselle. I am very sorry though. Sometimes he can be forgetful. He is away right now, and will be gone for most of the day. He will not be back until late this evening. I am truly, and you can see he's like looking like he's really like offendedly sorry about this. He's like, I am so very sorry, mademoiselle. Um, I could leave a message with for my lord. If you want, I could certainly. I know that he will. Now it will be quite late this evening, mademoiselle. It will not be till nearly 9 o'clock before he returns. But if you wish to return, then most certainly, I'm sure he would be very happy to take your company at that point. But he is gone for the entire day. I am so terribly sorry.
Oh, Amanda is literally going to like pile it on. They're going to look almost like heartbroken, like a dismissed little puppy. They're going to be like, um, oh, okay. Well, I guess if he's not going to be available all
Would you
day,
like?
they.
Excuse me for interrupting, Madame. If you want, you could come in, and I could bring you to his office, and you could write him a letter, perhaps.
Oh, that would be lovely. Thank you so
Of
much. You're so
course.
gracious.
Please, if your friends would might, you can. if you don't mind, you could wait in the hallway here, and I will bring
Of course.
Mademoiselle Moreau to my lord's office, and you can use his stationery to write him a letter. And as I said, please, if you wish to come back later this evening, unfortunately it'll be nighttime before he returns. Then most certainly, I'm sure he'll be very happy to receive you.
That I suppose, we cannot
Yeah.
rush these things. If he's not available, he's not available.
I will have a stern talking to my lord about forgetting
Hmm.
his
Please do. I
appointments.
mean, wasting embassy time, it does not look good for his.
Truly, mademoiselle, I am
Hmm.
so outraged on your behalf.
Good, good.
Um, and so
We
listen,
did reschedule many appointments to be here.
I feel awful. If only there was more I could do. Now, by the way,
Hmm.
the house is fabulous. So you come in this like massive, beautiful, grand hallway and doors. Like this is a mansion. There's like
Mm-hmm.
massive dining rooms, drawing rooms, and after he brings you up and just off to the left slightly into a beautiful, very, very, it's like small, like 6 by 7 meter small,
Mm-hmm.
office study, very masculine energies, big, fine oak desk, lots of mahogany kind of wood details, numerous books on the back. Many of them,
I do love nice,
yeah,
wood paneling on.
many of the
It's just.
books,
Yeah, wooden legs on chairs,
yeah,
perfect.
they many of the books they're in languages you do not recognize. They appear to be Slavic languages.
Mm-hmm.
um and he says, please, madam, and it's like this beautiful high back like leather chair. Says, and this individual who hasn't actually introduced himself, he brings you around, gestures to the chair, pulls open a drawer, takes out some paper, gestures to a very, very, very nice fountain pen sitting in a small little stand for you to write, if you wish, and
Mm-hmm.
pulls a small bowl of sand that you could sprinkle over the ink as well if you want afterwards. Like, he's trying to be as helpful as he can here so you can write your letter. But he then steps back so he's not like looking over your shoulder as you write.
Okay, deadly. Yeah. Aminata will, take a nice, graceful seat in the chair,
Mm-hmm.
like really rubbing themselves all over his like chair, so it
Mm-hmm.
reeks of me.
Yes.
Like
Excellent.
I've been touching, like passing by the desk, rubbing my finger alongside it. Ooh.
You're just gonna start licking everything in sight now.
Absolutely, I am mad as fuck. Yeah, so Aminata is going to sit down and start writing him a lovely note in the fanciest script. And yeah, it's going to start very, very sweetly and start with, My dear Span, um, I was quite remiss to find out what occurred outside my abode the other night. I would have thought that between all of our correspondence, that, I don't know, you would have read me quite as clearly as you proposed that you did, and would have been a bit more forthcoming with your needs, your desires. If you had merely asked, who knows what the outcome would have been. But I am very much disappointed that you could not do me the courtesy of being honest and forthcoming. Um, we hope to return later today to speak with you, of course, and you would probably be quite surprised to hear that I am willing to listen to any arguments that you may have for your salacious actions, and I hope that we may come to some sort of understanding and part on better terms if parting is what needs to happen. Yours truly, Aminata Moreau. And going to leave like a little fancy little X, and also just kind of like kiss the letter and fold it up really nicely. I can see there's a wax seal. I'm
Yep.
going to seal that up because I do not want Mr. Butler here reading what's in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to put it down and stand up and turn to the butler, putting on all the charm and say, "Ah, Pardonnez-moi, monsieur, I never even asked for your name. How rude of me."
Oh, my name is Penko.
Benko, thank you so, so much. You are a great help to your Baron, and I will see you later on today. And with
I,
that,
I look forward, and he leads you out to the rest of the group who are just kind of standing, admiring the finery of the house in the very, very fancy hallway.
okay. Well, the Baron's not here. We might as well return to the embassy offices and return later on this evening. You said he should be back by about 9 p.m. We
Approximately 9. Maybe make it 9:30 just to be safe.
about 9:30. Okay. We will do what we can.
Thank you.
Au revoir.
Would be ashamed to burn this house down. It is very nice.
Sort of reminds me of home.
Really?
It, ours was smaller, but yeah, touches of it, yeah.
Well, it's beautiful. Your family must have great taste. I will give the Baron that. He's a good decorator.
Oh, he is a great decorator, but chances are he did not necessarily decorate this himself. But we'll maybe find this out later on.
Yeah, and Elise, I thought that your saber looked a little bit too fancy to be the standard Prussian army issue.
Oh, family heirloom.
I don't like to make assumptions, but I figured.
Well,
Money.
So, what's the plan? Are we going to get that drink?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Actually-
you have to tell us more about where you come from.
Does Sylvia send a message to Justine, or does Gwyn send a message to Justine?
I'll do it through
Moonlit Script.
Moonlit Script.
So you send it. So you cast your spell, sending a message to Justine of the bar that you are all going to.
Oh,
While we're walking, Sylvia is going to just ask Annalise, since you are an officer, I'm not. I realize this is probably a stupid question, but
It's not
my
such a thing, of course.
my brother is also an officer. I was wondering maybe if you know him. His name is Major Heinrich Bauer.
You surely don't mean the Major Heinrich. Perhaps it might be of some surprise to you. We worked together for some time. I held a similar rank.
Really? Oh,
Perhaps it is a surprise by my countenance, but
well, you are quite well. He is only 29, and he is a major. I okay.
So Sylvia, you would know this. Your brother was exceptional in reaching the rank that he did. Most people in the Prussian army who are officers, their parents would pay for their commission.
Yeah, that was not Heinrich's case.
Has the fancy ass saber and came from the fancy family. It's very much suggesting you could immediately put two and two together and say, okay, she probably was a major because her family paid for her officer's commission, which is why she was a major at such a young age.
To her credit, Annalise looks embarrassed.
Yeah, like you would have met other young officers younger than your brother who were of a similar or higher rank than him, simply because they were from wealthy noble families that paid for their
Heinrich crawled up through the ranks.
Yeah, he was a person of much determination. I was quite impressed.
No, he was that.
I now you mention it, I do see some of the resemblance.
The jaw, of course, but well, his is more square, but
strong jaw. It was
No, it is good to meet somebody who knows him. I know that he is okay. I have been in touch with him. So
Oh, recently, have you?
yeah, no, I have it took me time longer than it should have, much longer, but I did write to him. So yeah, I know that he is safe and he is back in Berlin. I hope to see him soon, but we don't know how these things will go. I've heard some of the stories about things that happened.
Yeah.
He would, of course, play it down, but you know.
Very, good humility, a good sport. I'm certain he does not remember me by name. But I'm glad
if you
to hear.
are still traveling with us, maybe you can meet him. And I do know the story. He will probably not be happy to know that I do know about the jewel. I purposely said nothing, and he is happy that I do not know, but I did hear about it quite soon after I joined the army. So
it was one of those stories that would, circulate somewhat.
No, those mental victims, they tend to be complete assholes. So
it buys a number. Yeah, I often wondered if it was a requirement of the position.
Yeah.
Sylvia, can you give me an awareness roll, please?
Sure. Oh God.
I know you only have an awareness of 1, and you don't have any other skills to help you, but nonetheless.
Oh, that's an 18.
Beans.
Okay, so Annalise, what, if anything, would she be picking up off you from this conversation?
The moment you mentioned, if you're with us for a while, you'll probably, have an opportunity to, be mentioned. Sheer terror. Yeah. Absolute, sheer terror. And as you're bringing up, stories and things about Heinrich, there are moments of, just blank. Just, yeah, okay, what a fun time. As, she's clearly trying to play along with you and make, it's obvious she does know of your brother and has at least been in proximity, but, there's not as much familiarity or interest from someone who should be at least collegial.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, okay, great. Super.
But you see a general, there's that moment of terror and then just a underlying thrum of anxiety for the entirety of the conversation.
Okay, right. So you do go to the bar, Justine meets up with you, you have drinks. What do you all discuss?
Well, Annalise, tell us more about you. And I know my Joséphine has a habit.
Justine is straight in there. No,
absolutely not.
It seems there's more important things. Please, just quickly throwing the attention towards you.
So Justine is just basically going to tell everything she found out. That your man is probably a vampire. That Bishop was quite helpful. However, there was a lot of religious bullshit.
Do you mention the holy water?
No.
Do you mention becoming blessed as a soldier of Christ?
No. No. She's not going to mention any of that, but she's not going to pour the holy water or throw it out as well. Okay. Justine is she's a skeptic. She's raised Catholic.
Yes.
And she's familiar with Catholic faith and everything, but she's also very much into science and magic.
The Druids also mentioned vampires and stuff. A lot of the stuff is quite similar, but
it seems that what was in the Bishop's archive was slightly more detailed than what was in the Druid's archives, though. But that could just because the Bishop's archives, it was older records. You don't.
And also they would have known that true faith and all that shit would have repelled him, which the druids may not necessarily have known because, you know, their magic is different.
Yeah.
So Justine, she's not going to pour or throw the holy water out just for like an off chance
Yeah.
that the shit works,
Mhm.
because she's like, okay, I can explain everything with magic, so there is no room for religion in my worldview. But also, who knows? There
Just in
might
case.
be. Just in case. She did the whole, like, you know, being blessed more out of politeness, because the bishop was very helpful. And the fact that Anki's sneezing, he just got loads of library dust, like, has nothing to do with any oils or incenses or anything like that. Of course not. So Justine is basically going to tell everything she found out, that it looks like he's not a fae, he's more of a cursed person, and he's more of a cursed human being. Possibly a sorcerer or someone who was a sorcerer in his previous life. So if this is a curse,
explains the magic. Okay.
that explains the magic. If this is indeed a curse, there are always off chances of lifting it. Now, I haven't found out anything about it, but
I can lift a curse, but if I was to do it, it would probably take all of my power. I would have no mana left at all.
Presumably he's dangerous to others,
Hmm.
so we should stop him.
It did. Justine does tell you that the stories describe these creatures as feeding off of humans for sustenance.
Yeah. But
And we know that it would have only taken Aminata a few more days to be depleted of her life essence.
Yeah, well, like there's a lot of crossover with what the druid said, so.
Yeah.
But as you say, more detailed from the church.
And confirmed.
If there is an opportunity to lift a curse, I feel it might be wise to make a decision on whether this is a hunt or a repair. It is hard to go in with one mind and change that in the middle of battle.
Well, I think if we
true.
lift the curse, he may lose some power. I still think that
He would likely still be a sorcerer.
Yeah, with or without the curse, he is still someone who fed off Aminata. So, you know, that is irrelevant to me.
I think
I would be looking upon removing the curse as a way to take away power. With a view to then killing him, not as a, oh, you are cured, now go forth and, you know, have a hug and
We made countless people suffer.
yeah.
We based on what he did say, well, the little bit that he did say about his family, it seems like that there may be some history with this possible affliction of theirs, and if he could unfortunately be the child of someone who had the curse, so he might have been born with this. And I think going back with the olive branch of, this is something we could do for you willingly, and depending on his actions, then we will react accordingly. I know that I am very hurt. I have no idea where I thought this was going. This was not it. I can tell you that. I thought that we'd be able to enjoy each other's company. It's very tedious trying to get to know people in the circles that I'm in. A lot of these fools do not know what discretion is. And I thought the Baron might have been said person. So we'll see. We will aim to go there with the intent to have compassion, lift the curse, and hopefully, if he's not as bad as hopefully we're making him out to be a villain. If he happens to be the villain, happy days. We can kill him. Everybody is happy. And if he just happens to be an unfortunate person who is afflicted with something that they cannot control, we will still feel quite good for helping him with it. I will still require my what is that saying? My pound
Pound
of
of flesh.
flesh. We my pound of flesh. And yeah, so yes, Annalise, you are very astute. We should aim with the intent on helping, but then, like other scenarios that our party have been in, if we are backed into a corner, none of us take it lying down, and we will eviscerate him. And I will revel in bathing my hands in his blood, so to speak. So,
Annalise
yes.
moves a little bit further away.
And Aminata will give you the most fiendish grin that they could probably muster. Like there's no doubt. They're usually the very cool, calm, collected diplomat of the party. They are like borderline unhinged. Like Justine has never seen Aminata like this.
Yeah,
Like
Sylvia's
they're
very
borderline feral.
Sylvia's very much. Oh, okay. I thought that was lurking under there. Okay, cool.
I like this.
It's very much a. Oh,
It's
okay.
not a bad look. Jawohl. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Seems prudent.
Exactly.
So, what's the plan for the rest of the day? Because I know the previous day Justine had re-enchanted one of the mana receptacles. Are you doing that again today if you're planning on going to the Baron's house? I assume you're not.
No.
Yes, okay. I'm just checking. Okay.
Sylvia would have recharged Justine's mana receptacle.
Her permanent one yesterday, you did that.
Yeah, I did that. I would, because you're replenishing mine. We discussed this off stream, but you said you were replenishing mine, so Sylvia would have just taken yours and recharged it.
So you have your permanent mana receptacle with 30 extra mana in it.
Yeah, we have loads of mana receptacles, so we all have a permanent one, which is kind of more fancy, and anyone can replenish it. And we also have the ones that I made, so only I can replenish those.
And they can
Hence,
only be replenished
all the
3 times.
back and forth thing.
Yeah.
And they're the break glass in case of emergency ones. So
okay, so then I guess do you all like return to your various homes for like to prepare for the evening dinner and so forth before you all head out to the Baron's house for 9 or for 9:30? Yes.
Ooh, actually, before that happens, I assume okay, like we would have been told about what Justine would have heard from the bishop, and Aminata would have been on a bit of a mission to find someone who could make bullets that had holy water in them.
Yeah, that's not going to be possible.
Yeah, I thought as much. Actually, yeah, can they just coat bullets in holy water then?
Sure you can. You can go to a church and get some holy water.
Do you know what?
Throw a few in the font.
I'm going to go to the bishop.
Okay.
Do you mention at all that like that's your plan? Or
oh yeah. No, this time I won't just like. This time I'll be like, listen, God knows where I'm going to happen. I'm going to say.
we could just pop into a local church, and
just get some holy water out of the font.
You could easily get holy water off of a local priest. Give him a couple of silver, and he'll give you like as much as you want.
Actually, yeah. Well, I also want to get my weapons blessed.
Yeah. Okay. We'll say it's like 5 silver to get hold of that.
Absolutely. Okay.
So
your best blessings, Padre.
You go into a local church. You ask
your
the priest
finest
to bless
blessing.
your revolver and your sword, your cane sword, and he gives you a nice big bottle, like it's like a over half a liter of holy water.
Nice.
Yeah, to do with as
That's
you
more than I have.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
but
did
you
pretty
got,
well.
you got bishop holy water. We've just got like priest holy. Like
You've got
It
the
may
it has to
be
be
all the
tears and holy water.
same.
It's like it's like Ballygowan versus Fiji water levels of holy water.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Aminata, I think, is going to be quite happy with that, and yeah, they're going to gear up for either a
Run his
fight
house to the
or
ground.
Cool.
While this is all happening, Sylvia is going to just say to Aminata, look, I can't claim to understand how you must be feeling, but you were, very invested in killing the Baron at all costs, and now you are suddenly going down the road of diplomacy. I do not mean to be rude, but you aren't under influence, are you?
the
It's
only
just such a dramatic shift. That is the only reason I am concerned.
I understand, and it warms my heart to know that you are concerned for my well-being and you see
Ah,
this shift in
stop.
me.
You
Um,
see Sylvia kind of go, nah, fine.
exactly. Like I can read you like a book. Aminata is genuinely, but Aminata means this genuinely. Like, it does warm the heart because usually they're the cool, calm, and collected one, and this was probably the first kind of like big face crack, they've had really with the wider party, and they're going to just say, "I was not myself earlier, and I am not proud of how I responded in the moment." But I think if I reacted harshly without giving the Baron a chance, I would probably think about it too much. Whereas if we go into it, like we have with all of these other incidents we've had where we've openly tried to de-escalate the situation, and then if things go south, I can sleep easy. And I think just for my own peace of mind, that will help me sleep better. Personally, I could go either way. I
Okay.
will be very happy if we need to kill him. If we don't need to kill him, I will still expect to take my pound of flesh because I feel very, very. I've never felt such rage, and I'm a lot better at reading people than this, and I was blinded clearly by lust.
Ah, well,
And
look, Aminata, as a person who was the most wronged by the things that have happened, we will stand by you, but just I wanted to make sure that you were in your right mind.
we just that walk that I took earlier, it actually helped. It helped clear my thoughts a lot, especially when I saw where I was going. That really kind of helped pull me back more into myself. My mother would be she'd be quite disappointed if I reacted rashly, but also she can only blame herself for my temper. It does not come from my father's side of the family. So it was a challenge to come to grips, and I think the way we proceed now will be the best way, and I am more than prepared, more than prepared to do what needs to be done if worst comes to worst. But it is all me.
Okay.
Okay. So
But I appreciate you caring so much to worry about me.
Mm.
Mm. Aminata's just gonna kind of like blow her little kiss and then just kind of like flounce off to get more
Okay.
alcohol.
So as I
Sylvia is
said,
like full on, arms folded, eye rolling, and everything.
you all go back to your respective homes to get ready, have your meals. I'm out of you back to Gwyn's apartment. The landlady there is expecting you. She knows you're there. She has a very fine meal prepared for you, Justine. Sylvia, you go back to your accommodation in Montmartre. Annalise, you go back to your place. And Gwyn, you go to Josephine's house, okay? And she has a lovely meal set for you, talking about your plans for tonight. She is a bit concerned, but she also knows that you're part of a strong and capable group of women, okay? So these are all, biding your time. These are going to be heading to the Barrens for about 9:30, okay? So people are getting ready, checking your equipment, making sure you have everything that you need, okay? Gwyn, you are in Josephine's house. You're
Yes.
sitting down. You've had a lovely meal, okay? You are in the drawing room. You're having a nice sherry, just chatting.
Wonderful.
She's like running her hands along your arm, sitting beside you, tingles as she does, telling you that she is worried for you and telling you the promise that you are going to be safe. Okay?
My dear, don't try and distract me. We will be absolutely fine.
Well,
We are more than capable of taking on one man.
he seems
Please, we've taken on so much worse.
he seems to be more than just one man.
But is he not still a man at the end of the day? Susceptible to this? And Gwen conjures a little flame in the palm of her hands.
So, it's at that moment you notice something strange and bizarre. Looking across, just casually glancing, you spot what looks to be a dark smoke traveling in from through the windows, falling down into the room, rising up, forming into a silhouette of a man with glowing red eyes as it solidifies into the form of Baron Ivan Stratsimir standing in your drawing room as he looks at the flames in your fingers. Please, I am not worried about fire. And that is a perfect place to pause in our
No,
story.
fucking asshole! I knew you were gonna do this.
He
Yes, all right,
is
Gwen.
ashes.
Gwen!
He is
Why?
ashes.
Oh, why is he gone to Gwen?
Oh,
Snake.
snaky fucking
Oh.
coward.
Interesting.
You could.
Seriously, Madame Gautier's house, he is deceased.
We'll see. So,
Oh,
thank you all for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us, Ariane. It's lovely to have you here for our adventures.
Yeah, it was lovely to meet you. Oh my
Yes.
god.
And all of you as
I-
well. Thank you.
Next week's TPK will be so wonderful with you there.
Hooray! I can't wait. I just built this character.
Yeah. So yes, thank you all for joining us. We hope you had as much fun as I did. And we will see you next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. So good night, everybody. Thank you all, everybody. Bye.
bye.
You ass.